The nervous and endocrine systems collaborate to control gastric activity, which refers to the secretions and motility of the stomach. Gastric activity is controlled by the brain, the stomach itself, and the small intestine. Therefore, it is divided into three stages called the cephalic, gastric, and intestinal phases. The cephalic phase is a stage in which the stomach responds to the sight, smell, taste, or even the thought of food. The hypothalamus relays these signals to the medulla oblongata, and the vagus nerve fibers stimulate the enteric nervous system of the stomach, and that stimulates secretion of acid and gastrin. The gastric phase is a period in which swallowed food and semi-digested proteins in the stomach activate gastric activity. Acetylcholine and gastrin stimulate the stomach to secrete hydrochloric acid, intrinsic factor, and pepsinogen. The physical presence of food stretches the stomach and raises the pH of its contents. The stretch activates two reflexes that stimulate gastric secretion via acetylcholine released from the parasympathetic nervous system. As dietary protein is digested, it breaks down into smaller peptides and amino acids which directly stimulate the G cells to secrete even more gastrin. This positive feedback loop accelerates protein digestion. The gastric phase winds down as proteins leave the stomach and the pH falls below 2, inhibiting the secretion of hydrochloric acid and gastrin. The intestinal phase is a stage in which the duodenum responds to a riving chyme and moderates gastric activity through hormones and nervous reflexes. At first, stretching the duodenum actually accentuates gastric activity, and proteins stimulate the duodenum to secrete more gastrin, which further stimulates the stomach. Eventually, though, the acid and semi-digested fats in the duodenum trigger the enterogastric reflex. The duodenum sends signals to the medulla, which then inhibits gastric stimulation by the autonomic nervous system. The duodenum also releases secretin and cholecystokinin, which suppress gastric secretion and motility and contracts the pyloric sphincter to limit the gastric emptying into the duodenum.